Second normal form, or 2NF, might be a relatively easy gate to pass, depending on how you set up your primary keys. If all of your tables use only a single field or column as their primary key, then congratulations, you've already passed the requirements for 2NF. If you're using a composite primary key, that is to say a primary key that requires two or more fields in conjunction to uniquely identify a record, then we have a little more work to do here. A table is in second normal form if all of the fields in the primary key are required to determine the other non-key fields. Here's an example. Here I have a table that is keeping track of the individual line items for an invoice, but it has a slightly different configuration than the one we've seen previously. Here, the invoice number and product name are a composite key that links to the specific order that was placed and the specific item that was ordered. The reason a composite key was chosen in this table was so that we are protected from having two lines on the same invoice for the same product. If multiples of a product were ordered, then the quantity field should reflect the total number purchased. To check for compliance with the second normal form, we'll go through the remaining non-key fields, in this case quantity and manufacturer, and check to see if we need both components of the primary key to determine a specific value. The quantity field is up first. The quantity ordered will vary for each invoice. Some products will be ordered just once, and some will have two or more purchased on the same invoice. The quantity will also be different for the various products ordered on the same invoice. So quantity passes the compliance check. Both components of the composite key are required to know the quantity. Let's move on and check the manufacturer column. The manufacturer value isn't dependent on the invoice ID portion of the composite key. Different transactions will be for a variety of products, produced by a variety of manufacturers, so that's good. It passes the first check. But the manufacturer will always be the same for line items that include the same product name. Here is where we fail the test for 2NF. Here's another way to look at it. If I give you a specific invoice ID and product name, say invoice 117 and mission oil, can you tell me how many of that product were ordered? Sure, you just look it up on the invoice, find the line for that product, and read off the quantity too. Could you do the same if I just gave you an invoice ID and no product name? Well, in this case, no, because you wouldn't know which product on that transaction I was referring to, unless of course you got lucky and there was only one item ordered, but you obviously can't plan on that scenario. If I just gave you a product name, basil infused, could you tell me the quantity ordered? Of course not, because you wouldn't know which specific order I was referring to. So both product name and invoice number are required to tell you the quantity ordered. Let's run that same check against the manufacturer. If I gave you just the invoice number, again, you wouldn't know which product I meant. But if I just give you the product name, basil infused, and ask for the manufacturer, then it really doesn't matter which specific record, or on which invoice I'm talking about. You can confidently tell me the manufacturer given a particular product name without even referencing a specific invoice number. So in this case, the line items table doesn't pass the test for second normal form, and it needs to be modified. At this point, it might be clear on how to fix the issue. You simply remove the offending column, in our case the manufacturer from the line items table. It's likely that this information appears already in another table, such as a table about the details of our product line, in which case it would have been redundant in the line items table anyway. However, if this particular information doesn't already appear elsewhere in your data model, then you simply create a new table, move the column in, and add a copy of the portion of the composite key that the field was dependent on. In this case, we'd create a table called products and include the manufacturer and product name columns. Now we can create a one-to-many relationship between the two tables to keep the data in check. So that's how you check for compliance with the second normal form. Go through all of the tables with composite keys and make sure that the rest of the fields are determined by the entire composite key. If a field is only determined by a portion of the key, move that column to a new home, either in an existing table or in a new table.